Well, hi, everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and we are live on a Friday evening, which means it's time for us to be talking about coping with life. And I want to tell you, it has been quite the week for me about coping with life, as you will hear as we go along. So I want to say a warm welcome to everybody who's here, maybe for the first time. We at DearMamaSal are a group of people who get together 3 times a week, and we help each other cope. And I don't know if that's of interest to you, if you've ever thought, boy, I could really do with an extended family of people who actually care about me. But that's what we do. We get together at lunchtime on a Friday, specific time, where we talk about coping with feelings. And we had quite the broadcast today talking about a lot of feelings that have been going on, including we also did a segment on the interview done with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, otherwise known as the Duchess of Sussex. So, we try to do all sorts of things in those broadcasts that make you think and maybe rethink some of the things you think you know. And then on a Friday evening, we talk about life as you all live it. Hi there, Izzy, and hi there to Sandy as well. And then on Sunday afternoon at 3:30, we talk about coping with stress. Now, just so that you've all got context, those of you who are not regulars, you may not know, but I am presently living in a rented apartment away from my home because my home caught fire back in September. However, I am now 2 weeks away. In fact, 2 weeks from today, I will be back home. So I don't have to tell you, things are getting pretty stressful, and I'm going to explain some of the things. At lunchtime today, I explained a lot of those things that have been happening, but I realized that I forgot one of them that's really quite important. But in it, I hope you will all learn a lesson. However, I do want to tell you that life is just unfolding as it should. And I'm also going to, in today's session, talk to you about how to control people trying to stress you out. You know what I mean? Because you'd be amazed. And so we talked a little bit about it at lunchtime, but I'm going to be giving you some more of my strategies as we go on. And as you can probably imagine, life is not going quite to plan. I've been sitting around doing diddly squat for 5 months, and suddenly they're all panicking because they've got to get me back in by the end of the month. And panicking is really the word for it, I think, in some cases. And you will probably roll your eyes and wonder, how's this happening? But first, some really good news. For those of you who are regular viewers, we heard today an update on Bubba. That is Lolo in Louisiana, Lolo's husband. And I'm going to read exactly what Lolo put in her post. And she said, an update on Bubba's biopsy, no cancer was found. So on to the next chapter of this horrible disease. He will still have chemo and vitamin injections, and it could be having those for the rest of his life. They will monitor him very closely, and they will do, and I will too. His spirits are good, his appetite is good, and I never thought we would say this. He is free to go back to work with plenty of limited activities. Prayers really do work. He is a miracle. One day at a time. We are so grateful for all the prayers and donations. And thank you, all of you, to those of you who are DearMamaSal viewers who helped them in their times of struggle. I want to thank you personally, and I know some of you have done great work in supporting them emotionally, and others have sent money as well. And I just want to say how much I appreciate that. That was, and let's just pray that all goes well from this point onwards. But I don't know about you, but it's wonderful to hear that sort of news, especially at this time when things are going in so many different directions for people. I want to also, before we get into the main subject of today, talk to you a little bit about, there's been quite a bit of comment recently about people struggling with being lonely. And as you know, I have spent the last 5 months on my own. I don't live with anybody. I am on my own. And the only social interaction I really have is when I go shopping, and I try not to do that more than once a week. And then also, I have one meal a week that I go to. And as a single person, I am allowed to do that for my mental health, because they realize if I couldn't interact with people, that's not good for my mental health. So, but one of the things that Jody was asking me was, how have I coped with that loneliness? And I want to remind you all, we are as lonely as we choose to be. And I want you to really think about that. We are as lonely as we choose to be. So if ever I start feeling lonely, I have a choice. Do I want to be a victim to loneliness, or do I want to conquer it? And the way I conquer it is I reach out to people. And to me, that is the most simple way to stop being lonely, is to reach out to people, and just, as many people as you can. And, join another group online that chit chats about your favorite hobby. Do what you can to interact with people. And we are so lucky to have the technology to do that. I really do believe that we need to do what we need to do to not be alone. And here's the next thing. This one is a really important one for some people. Do not keep score. What do I mean by that? Don't sit there and go, well, I've phoned her the last 3 times, so it's time for her to call me. It's not about them. It's what are you doing so you don't feel lonely? It's not about keeping score. Do you understand the difference in that? It's like the way to not be lonely is to interact. But if you keep score, and if you say, well, I phoned her twice and she hasn't called me back, and that's, obviously she doesn't like me, and that's being a victim. This is called, hey, maybe she's been busy. Maybe things are going on in her life that you don't know about. And so don't keep score, just keep in touch. I have a rotation in my daytime, and I've got a project planning system, and I've got a rotation to make sure I keep in touch with everybody I care about. And, some people I make sure I call them, at least a couple of times a week. And I say call them, but I send them an email or a quick note or something. I've got others that I will do that every 2 weeks. I've got others that I only, do it maybe once a month or so. But, I assure you that I need to keep track of that group of people, because they're the people that I care about. And I want to make sure that they know that I do care. And how do I do that? I tell them that. And I update them, let them know, what the update is from my side. And if they don't answer me back, that's not my problem. Do you understand that? It's about, this is a very selfish act, if you like. The act of making sure I am not alone. And the other thing is that I am so appreciative of anybody that does contact me. And I really want to give a shout out to Jody, our admin, and also Lauren in Tasmania, who've done an awesome job over the last 5 months of being sure that I have not felt alone. And by the way, the fitness group, the DearMamaSal fitness group, I want to thank everybody that's part of that as well, because you guys have really helped me, stay on track with my, my challenge to get more healthy, and to do that without being able to do it in the normal way. And in terms of updating you on that, it's called, this is a marathon, not a sprint. Some of you know that about a month ago, I wondered what it would be like to do a half marathon. And during the week, not necessarily on, in a couple of hours, but what would we like to do it during the week? So I did it. And then 3 weeks ago, I decided, maybe I will try to do a marathon in a week. And as some of you know, I have now done 2 marathons, and today I'm on my 3rd. This is the 3rd week, and I'm on my 3rd marathon. And let me just see if I can update you here. I believe right now I have done 47,500 of the 56 that I need. So that means that tomorrow, between tonight and tomorrow, I need to put in another 8,500 steps, which means that will take me about an hour and a half, less than an hour, maybe an hour and a quarter. And if any of you want to know how do I work all that out, I have written a spreadsheet where I literally just type in what I have done and it calculates everything else for me. It'll tell me, you only need to do 10 more minutes of exercise to make up, or 20 minutes, right? And it's amazing how motivating that is, where you don't think that you've got very far, but you suddenly find out. In fact, I didn't update it with, mind you, I also know I didn't do a lot of walking this afternoon. 4655. Let's see what happens if I update it one more time. Where am I? Here we go. So I actually need to do 28 minutes tonight and 67 minutes tomorrow. And then that will be the marathon done. Do I think I can do 28 minutes? You bet. All I do is I turn on the news and I just walk while I watch the news. It's amazing how quickly 28 minutes goes. The first 5 minutes is, you're aware of walking, but after a while you just get into a sort of zone and that's it. So for those of you who have started being more aware, those of you on the fitness group, being more aware of your steps, it is amazing how the little bit that you do, you will find you automatically want to do a little bit more. I have not worked hard to make these shifts from 10 minutes a day to over an hour a day. It's just my body saying you can do more than this, and I do. However, just a point, my muscles, they are still reacting. And I do want to tell you that, particularly in my core. I really have been quite sore on my, what are these called? The muscles at the side of your body, of your core. And I actually literally was walking the other day and I felt my spine release. Literally something must have been, a little bit seized in my spine, and I just felt it release, and so that I could walk. And I went, wow, I could feel that shift. So something's going right. Hi there, Bethy. Good to see you. The other thing that I want to say is, while there's an upside to the fact I'm obviously building a lot of stamina, the downside is that before I would say, okay, I need to do 30 minutes. So that's twice around the island, which is this walk that there is on the Wii Fit. Here's the thing. The island used to take me 15 minutes to walk. Amazingly, it now takes me 6. Isn't that scary? And so now if I want to put in 30 minutes, it's no longer 2 laps around the island. It's now closer to 4. So it's just like, there is a downside. On the upside, though, I do believe that the needles are starting to shift. Hi, Nolene, good to see you. The needles are starting to shift. It started to shift on my blood glucose. I've managed to get that back into control again. I have seen a significant shift in the angle of my weight going down, because it had gone up like this all the time that I'd been here, and now it's curved and on its way down. Very exciting. I've noticed that also my BMI, my body mass index, is going down point by point. It's just an interesting thing. I've got a long way to go. And as you know, my goal is to be overweight, not obese. That's going to take me some time. Now, have any of you had any major shifts in what you have been doing in terms of a marathon, not a sprint? Are any of you increasing the amount that you are walking? Are any of you finding any benefits from it? Are any of you maybe taking up dancing at home if you're not going to walk? And by the way, it's amazing you don't have to work that hard. As I said, all I found was that how do I make the time to walk for over an hour a day? I don't sit quite as long playing stupid video games is what I do. And I've got to say, quite honestly, that's what I gave up on, was the video game time. And I said, okay, fine, I need to be doing something healthier than sitting on my butt doing that. So I did go and visit my home again this week. Big changes, all of you. Oh, and I've got pictures for you, because I was pretty sure you'd want to see. Am I right on that one? The good news is, where are we? Let me see if I can find some happy snaps for you. Oh, and they are not in this rats. They're in my phone. Shush. Okay, so they're in my phone, not on here. Beth is saying, I'm walking less because I learned that I have to slow down and delegate tasks to employees and not do everything myself. That is one of the greatest, Beth, I think I've said this to you before, and you will eventually get it. The greatest sign of a good manager is that they actually, the team can do without you. That's the sign of a good manager, right? That you basically have taught them everything that you know to the extent that they can do the job without you. And therefore, you know, and it's the most difficult thing to teach people. I always remember trying to teach that to Benji, because, you know, those people who are doers, that are Energizer bunnies and doers, they think, you know, they've got to do it. And that's not management. That's not good management. Good management is inspiring people and teaching people to be able to do it themselves and enjoy the process, because they will never do it as well as you want them to. I want to tell you something, Beth. I'm not surprised your store is the best in 3 districts. All right? Because you do the work of 4 people. So I am not surprised at all. The point is, are you absolutely exhausted from doing it? Because you do most of it. And that is the thing that I want, you know, that's your next learning. But I'm very proud of you. I know you're tired, honey. Hold on, people. I'm trying to find you pictures here. Oh, they fixed the, you remember I said that they did the wrong contrast color. Here are the 2 colors now. I don't know if you can see those. So that's the dark color and the light color against the white trim. You see those? So it's really beginning to look like home. What else can I show you? Oh, remember that they broke the one vanity that's been replaced already? There you go, that's all fixed. By the way, when you walk in there, it smells, beginning to smell clean again. They've done a major job getting rid of a lot of the dust and things. Excuse me. So what else can I show you here? Remember, there was a problem with one section of wall that they didn't fill it properly. Well, boy, did they listen to me on that. Look at the amount of filling they had to do. And then they will repaint that wall that dark color. But I knew that wasn't properly filled, that's for sure. By the way, they went through the whole house and everything has, I think the top guy walked in and went, no, you know, this is all to be redone. So in a way, it looks like I've gone a step backwards. Oh, there was a nice thing. In a couple of areas, they've put in those rocker switches for lights, and I love those, but I noticed not everywhere, just in the main areas. I'm not going to complain. I'm happy to have the ones I've got. What else? They've tidied up a lot. They've tidied up around the back, and obviously somebody's done a lot of work. The reason I'm stalling is because I need to tell you another horror story. But before I do, J.R. Tolkien said, it does not do to leave a live dragon out of your calculations if you live near him. Right? Think about that. It doesn't do to leave a live dragon out of your calculations if you live near him. Do you all understand what that quote's saying? So for those of you who understand what's happening to me, have I got a live dragon in my future? Yeah, it's called all those different contractors trying to finish at the last moment. They've had 5 months to talk to me about what I want and do not want. And now with 2 weeks to go, they're suddenly asking me all these questions. And I want to talk to you a bit about that. Wow, that's interesting. Beth saying she's buying her forever home pending acceptance to your offer. That is so exciting, Beth. Well done. I'm so proud of you. And by the way, I do recommend, if any of you are really interested in the stress level that's been going on, make sure you listen to the lunchtime broadcast, because it'll probably make your eyes roll a bit. Life gets in the way. And this is always, I talk about coping with life. But let me tell you what happened in the terms of that. Dwight D. Eisenhower said, in preparation for battle, I've always found that plans are useless, but planning is indispensable. In other words, you need to plan, but you also need to know that the plan very rarely works. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't plan. Do you all understand that? And the reason that you need to plan is because if you've planned something, you've probably caught 75% of the what ifs. But if you haven't planned it, then you haven't got any sort of plan B, C, and D for things. And so this is what happened to me. After waiting here for 5 months for people to ask me the obvious questions that I knew they were going to have to ask me, this week, 2 weeks before I moved back, I got a call from the lighting people. And they said to me, we need you to, and we're going to send you a list of all the lighting fixtures that have to be replaced. And we need you to go and shop for them and send us, and give us the. And I said, no, I'm not doing that. I said, what I will do is I will, check at the local Home Depot, see what's available, and let you know what to pick up. And they said, well, you have to go and buy the bulbs. I said, no, I don't. You're going to be at Home Depot picking up what I've asked you to buy, pick up the bulbs at the same time. Do you understand that they want me to do the work and I don't want to? And that is my right. Right? This is not about I need to go and do things. This is about I'll tell you what to buy. But I know, Sandy, it is crazy, but it's how they work it. So it gets worse, Sandy, if you can believe this. I then spent a day with the list of what they told me I needed to replace, and with the Home Depot site open on the other spreadsheet. And I started to find things, copy and paste them through. And they told me that, this is the allowance that I had. And I don't mind telling you, in a number of cases, the allowance that I had, and I'm certain Jeannie will have had the same problem, the allowance that they gave me did not cover the cheapest of what was available for that. That was amazing. So what I did was I decided that I had seen in my house that the two major light fixtures in my house, that's the one in the kitchen. I think I got a picture of that for you. Yeah. Okay. Can I draw something on there so you can see it? Just hold on 1 second. Okay, that's what I want. Okay, I'm just going to draw on these so you can see them easily. That's one, and that's the other. Okay, so these are the two light fixtures that I had. One in the kitchen, remember that one? And then the other one that is in the dining room area. I had seen that those two were still in the house. So what I did is I took the total allowance and took out the money for those two, and then upgraded a little bit some of the other things. This took me almost a day because there's a lot of cutting and pasting and going, can I afford this? No. What's the next best one? And so it goes on. So the reality is that I got the list to them. I got it back to them within 24 hours, which I thought was pretty good going. Today, Friday, Fridays are very busy for me. I got an email. Oh no, last night. Yesterday I went to see the house and I noticed that those two main light fixtures are missing. And so I wrote and I said, did you guys take those two light fixtures for some reason? And they wrote back and said, no, they've been junked. They were there last week. This week they junked them. Now think about this. Now I have to redo the whole of the lighting thing. Can you understand that? Because I did all the calculations based on those two light fixtures already being there. And they're the two expensive ones. Now, does getting angry fix the problem? No. Does screaming, it's not fair, fix the problem? No. Does saying, how can they do this to me on a Friday, fix the problem? No. So this is what I said. I said to the lighting contractor, I hear that you need me to rework that spreadsheet, and I will not be able to do that today. I have two broadcasts. However, I will do it over the course of the weekend. To tell me on a Friday is just like, really. Anyway, and then I decided that I wanted to make sure I was heard on this one. If you listen to the lunchtime one, you will have heard the story about, the whole thing about them wanting me to trek stuff to the apartment and what I did about it. And this one, I decided to write to the chief adjuster and to the guy in charge of the renos. And I said, I just want to let you know that the lighting contract could be delayed. And this is why. After waiting for 5 months for people to contact me, this week they did. And this week they asked me to make decisions about every piece of light fixture in my house. And I did that. And I have subsequently found out today that somebody has thrown out the two main light fixtures, which means I have to rework the whole of the spreadsheet. I will not be able to do that until the weekend. And the amazing thing was I wasn't complaining. I was just telling them facts, that it's going to be delayed. And I got this great email back from the Reno guy and, the project manager guy. He said, Sal, don't worry about it. Don't stress yourself about it. If necessary, we'll give you temporary lighting until, it's all done. You see? Can you see that just by taking that proactive step of saying, guys, this is the story, this is what's happened. I'm not going to stress myself out on this. It's just going to take me a couple more days to get it back to the lighting people so they can go. But that may mean that your project management might be delayed. And I just want to warn you of that. Does that make sense to everybody? So here's my question to you. Whose stress is it? Is it my stress? Is it the stress for the lighting people? Or is it the stress for the project management people? Who actually has the stress? Because if you can see that I don't, it's not my stress, right? I've been sitting here for 5 months waiting for you to contact me and tell me what you want. And, the fact that you wait until the last 2 weeks is not my problem. It's yours. I'm not taking this personally at all in terms of stress. Who pays the price? They do. All right, the lighting people are going to pay the price for it because this is insane. And by the way, who is controlling the stress? Well, I'm certainly doing everything I can to control my own stress because I don't want more than, it's bound to be stressful, but I don't want more than I need to take on. So then listen to this one. Not only did they want me to go and buy the light fixtures, they wanted me to also buy all the bulbs. Can you believe that? I wrote back and said, yeah, I'm sure you do. But here's the thing. You're going to Home Depot to pick up all these fixtures. Please pick up the bulbs while you're there. The right bulbs for each individual. I am not an expert on bulbs, so therefore you're lighting people. You know what it needs. So get the right bulbs. Don't try putting that on me. I'm not going to do it. Beth is saying, can there be no stress between both people in that situation? You know something? I think there can be if they are all in the right mindset. In other words, if the lighting people are not bitching and moaning about the fact the client who, needs to redo her list, as long as they're not blaming me for being slow, because I'm not. I've been incredibly quick at replying to all the contractors. But if you wait until the last 2 weeks to start asking me and then expect me to drop my life to accommodate you, you've got hit the wrong person. Do you all get that? It's like, it's not what I do. And my favorite quote of all time, have I got it here? Hang on. Yes, by Bob Carter. It is my favorite quote of all time. Business quote. It says, poor planning on your part does not necessitate an emergency on mine. Poor planning on your part does not necessitate an emergency on mine. And that's what always goes through my mind when they start pushing me. And I will just go, I know you want it by tomorrow, but the reality is you only contact me today. So, I think it's fair that you give me 24 hours or 48, whatever I think is fair. And that's what I will do. I'll get it back to you within that time frame. Beth is saying sometimes changes or disagreements are not all stress. I agree. But, when they contact you at the last moment and say, well, we need this back in a hurry, I go, if you wanted it back in a hurry, maybe it would have been a good idea to send it to me 2 weeks ago. Absolutely, Beth. Good girl. Beth is saying, if I show stress, then the other person gets more stressed as well. And that's why I said, hey, I totally understand you want it by tomorrow, but I'm sure you understand that's not, if you wanted it that quickly, then it would have been a good idea to send it to me 2 weeks ago, but you chose not to contact me until now. So now you're going to need to wait. And I'm not going to play that game. And that is my right. Right. So Sandy's saying a response similar to the one you gave about talking to you, taking the things to my house would have been well placed as well. Yeah. Management 101. And I used to say the same thing to my staff, very important, that you understand that it's not we've got a problem. It's like, tell me what your problem is. Right? Not my problem at the moment until I take it on. And yes, you want me to buy the bulbs, but I'm not going to. You know, you can mess about, you know, call me names and do all sorts of things, but, you know, you're the lighting people, pick up the lights. You know, this is where I become very gray-haired in a hurry. Do I want to be standing in a store trying to work out all those light bulbs? No, that's what a lighting person is for. Do you get that? But I think all too often we take on other people's stress. We take on other people's emergencies when they're not ours. And so for me, this is like, yeah, I'm sure it's what you want me to do, but I'm not going to do it. And again, when I had to rework it, who do I tell? I tell the people that the lighting contractors are getting paid by. You know, I go up the line and I go, hey guys, just want to warn you, the lighting could be delayed because da 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 da, and this is what I'm doing. They all knew what I was doing. And they said, take your time, Sal. We'll give you temporary lights if necessary. Thank you, guys. Appreciate that. So you understand, I'm just not going to take it on. Now, can you think of situations in your life where other people are trying to lay their stress onto you? And again, I go back to Terry Cole Whitaker's famous quote, you know, that thing about what you think of me is none of my business. The same thing. What you want me to get stressed out about, I don't have to. All right? I choose not to. It's my choice. And so when I want you to be really aware this week of how many people, through their bad planning, try to push stress onto you. Well, we've got to get it done by Monday. Well, if that's true, then maybe, you know, contacting me earlier would have been a good idea, but you chose not to. And that's okay. I understand you were probably busy, but, you know, it's not for me to get stressed out about it. You don't want me sick as well as stressed out. You're not a good thing. You know, it's quite simple for me. Makes sense, everybody? And once you're aware of that, and, you know, I feel for them. Right? Everybody has, you know, left this until, you know, these last few weeks, and now they need me out of here by the end of the month. That means I've got to be back in my home, which means it needs to be ready. On the good side, would you like to see the shower that I've been talking about? It's not finished, of course, but they got it roughed in now. That's exciting. I can find it for you. First of all, can I get that quickly? Hold on a second, guys. Just want to see if I've got a picture of it beforehand. Will it take too long? Okay, it take too long. All right, so you know there was a corner shower in that room, and now the roughed in. I'll get back there in a second. Nearly there. Okay, now then, there we go. So, hope you guys can see that. So can you see how great that's going to look? And that is the new wash hand basin in my bathroom. And then that back section is wall-to-wall shower. Yay! So you missed my house tour. Well, I don't think I officially did a full tour. What I will do is when I go back, though, I will, you know, show you bits of it the same as I did before. You'll see different rooms at different times. So that felt really quite exciting. It's big. It's 5 foot. so it's big enough, and I'm having those barn door type, a barn door type sliding door for it, so that I can open it with one hand easily, and it doesn't come into the room, it just slides across. And the reason I want that is if I end up at any time with a walker, I want to be able to do it with one hand easily and still have one hand on the walker. I also was asked what height did I want the grab bars, because I asked for grab bar in the shower thing. And it's so funny because you're going, I have no idea what height a grab bar should be. So what I did is I went and I literally went and stood next to a wall and imagined that I was slipping and I needed to hold on to something. and then I took my tape measure and I measured it, and I reckoned that my hip level would probably be the bottom point of it, and I would need the shower to go up from my hip level. And then if I started to fall, that would be at the right place. Really funny how I had to work that one out. So I wrote back and I said, I think it should be probably starting at around about 30 to 32 inches and then diagonally up. And the guy wrote back and said, that was exactly my thinking. So I said, which goes to show we're both pretty smart. And as you know, that I have got this problem where, because the floor colors have changed, I have to change all the vents that are in the floors as well, and need new rugs, because the previous color was brown colors and now I've got grays. And quite honestly, I suppose if you really stretched it out, I could put a brown carpet on a gray floor, but I wanted to get something more gray. So I went out shopping to get something to put on the floors, because I cannot put my dining room table down on a raw floor, because my dining room table is stone and it's rough stone. And, my bed is very heavy. It cannot go straight onto laminate. And my, couch and stuff, I want to be on a proper carpet. So I've been out shopping this week, big time. And I talked a bit about that at lunchtime, some of the things that I got. I had to get new bedding, new pillows, new rugs, a new comforter and shams, new shower mat, new mats for inside that bathroom area. Until I can find the runner that I want, what I did was I bought 4 non-slip bath mats that I could put. Does that make sense? Because, that's going to be a marble-looking tile in that bathroom on the floor. It's going to be matte, so it won't be too slippery. But, at my age, I don't want to be walking on straight tile. So what I did was I got myself 4 mats that I can put down there in the meantime. I want to tell you, it's amazing. However, I've still got to buy a new mattress. I've got to still buy things like new fire extinguishers because I used the last ones. I'm not sure if my robe went up. I've got to double check on that next week. And coat hangers, they took all my coat hangers because apparently plastic, absorbs the smoke. So all the coat hangers from my bedroom, have been trashed. Yeah, Costco has great stuff that I might need, but I'm not allowed in Costco, Beth. You haven't learned this about me yet. I'm an impulse buyer. The only time I ever went to Costco, it cost me $2,000. I promised myself I would not go back. Actually, I lie. I will go back. I've done it once or twice where I've needed something that I needed to get from Costco, but I had somebody come with me and I gave them my credit card and I said, please make sure that the only thing I buy is this and this, and only give me my credit card if that's all I have got in my, if that's all that I've got in my card. And I explained to them why. I'm smart enough to know. Can you get the fire extinguishers refilled? Probably, but I don't know whether they've trashed them or not. That's the point, Kimmy. It's one of the things I'm checking on this week on my list to see, did they actually trash my fire extinguishers, or do they just need to get refilled? Thank you for adding that in. That's excellent. And thank you, Beth, for saying that I can do a pickup on Costco, even if I'm not a member. Talking about planning, Peter Drucker said, unless commitment is made, there are only promises and hopes, but no plans. So part of the all that's going on here is that people thought they'd be ready by the end of the month, but they really didn't plan it out very well, in my view. Some of these contractors. And the one person who tried to do it all early was the tiling guy. And he contacted me almost immediately. And I said to him, I know roughly what I want, and I can tell you that, but I won't be able to tell you how much to get until I've sorted out what they're going to do with the bathroom. And this week, I actually phoned him because, I could only wait until they'd sorted out the issue of the bathroom before I could tell him. And this week I phoned him and I said to him, Brent, I want to thank you for being the first person to contact me and to try and do this in a timely manner. And I just want you to know how sorry I am that I couldn't give you that information because the other people didn't bother to contact me in time. And I said, I want to thank you for your patience and understanding. And he said, no, I totally understood your problem. And I said, good. It's not that I wanted to hold you up. It's that I knew that you can't order tile unless you know how much tile you're going to need. And you're not going to know how much tile you need until we've got this bathroom sorted out, how much wall is going to need to be tiled. Yes, a Costco basic membership costs about $40 to $60, but the thing is, I don't want to spend that money. What I may do, I know that my neighbor is a Costco member, and I might end up, going with her, or I will ask, I might look online, and if I see something, ask her to buy it for me. And I'm sure they would do that for me. That's what friends are for, right? I also want to say that I was very grateful. My sister sent me up a check to help me with these basic things that I had to rebuy. And I thought that was very thoughtful of her to do that. Because obviously I'm having to buy these things before I get paid out any more money from the insurance. And so, you got to think about that, that it's difficult. And now here's the next thing. I tried to make decisions about what carpeting I wanted, but here's the thing. I don't know how much money I'm going to get back. I cannot afford to spend a whole lot of money on really good rugs if I'm not going to get any extra money back. Right? I'm on a limited income. So therefore, what I did was I actually bought fairly cheap rugs to go down that I thought would look good. And I won't know until it's all put together. And on the principle that I knew I needed something on the floor before they put those heavy furniture back. But also that if necessary, I could save up the money. If I didn't like it long term, I could save up the money and then replace the carpets later. Does that make sense to everybody? There's nothing, I don't consider that to be a waste of money. That's like a less stress. I've got stuff that I can put on the floor. So I don't have to worry about rugs anymore. If at the end I don't particularly like them, I can then save up and change them. But I just wanted something down there. Now, the other thing I looked at is, can you paint rugs? And the reason I wondered about that is because I've also got, I'm going to put one of the old rugs in my craft area, and it'll be hidden mostly by the desks and stuff. But I thought, wouldn't that be fun to learn, to actually just paint it? But then I thought I'm going to be rolling a chair on it, so it probably wouldn't work too well. And so, but it, you know me, it's just like, I wonder if I can paint that carpet. The next thing I'd like to give you as a tip is that one of the things I work on, I expect things to go wrong. Have you noticed that? I don't expect things to go right. Have any of you noticed that? The reason I don't get all bent out of shape when things go wrong is because I expect them to. I've, every week that has gone by that nobody contacted me, all my warning bells are going, oh, this is going to be interesting when it gets closer to the end, because they're all going to panic and they're all going to get pushed really heavily to get this place finished and get me back home. And they're all going to be under stress, which means they're going to try and push that stress onto me. And so you look at it and go, it's important. And so to me, I was prepared for things not to go right. And Anas Hamshari said, the best alternative to hope is to set up multiple backup plans. All right? Multiple backup plans. Don't have plan A or B. Have plan A, B, and C, and probably start thinking about what's the next one. What if that doesn't go? Yes, with all due respect, Kimmy, Judy has a little bit more money probably in her back pocket than I do, so I might not have the options that she does. And, and again, as I've explained to you, that I have this situation where I don't know if I am going to get more money from the insurance people or not. So I have to think about, I've got a lot of things that are essential that I buy as well as rugs. And so until I know what's happening, I just need something to put on the floor to protect the furniture. Makes sense. And, quite honestly, if I can end up getting rugs at Costco, I'll be very happy. But I won't be able to do that this week. I won't be able to do it until I know exactly how much money is left over after I have bought the things I need to get. And again, I would remind you that if a year ago they had said, Sal, do you think that you have the mental strength to cope for a year of lockdown in isolation on your own and deal with all these insurance and fire issues? I probably would have said, no, I don't think so. But we have to, don't we? I am pretty certain if we had said to Lolo, do you think you're going to be able to handle Baba getting cancer and having to stop work and, you trying to help him through his rehab and everything else, do you think he will stay sane? And I'm pretty certain that she would say no. But, she has. And that is the most important thing, is to understand that we are stronger than we actually give ourselves credit for. We are better organized, and sometimes these glitches come in the way for reasons that are important. Life is constantly changing, and we don't know when we're going to get asked to change. And I've been saying this to you in the last couple of weeks, stay as flexible as you possibly can. And put your feet down gently when you can. In other words, I need to put my foot down a couple of times this week. One, on the issue about me moving things into the apartment here. Absolutely insane to do that. And then secondly, this business about the lighting. So when I need to put my foot down, to remember not to do it out of reaction, that I give myself a good hour to think about it and calm down before I take the next step. So stay flexible as you can, but when you put your feet down and dig your heels in, do so gently. All right? Don't go being rude to people or attacking them. It's just like, okay, keep it to the facts and keep it simple. But just tell them what you are prepared to do. Have any of you noticed the leak? Last week, I was showing you that I have got this leek growing. And I believe last week it was about this far up the lampshade. Look how far it's grown. It's grown like another, I would say, 5 inches this week. Isn't that amazing? You remember the little bits of bok choy that were growing? Well, look at it this week. Isn't that amazing how far it's grown? And the Savoy cabbage, I had to cut it up and put it in its own little things because look how it's growing. Isn't that awesome? There's the second one. And this is from little bits left over from the cabbage that came into the house. And Sandy, I think you asked me about, you asked me if I cut the onion, can I just put the bottom of the onion in to grow? You notice this is an onion that I bought, store-bought, and I just took what looked like dead roots at the bottom and I just put it into water. And this is now, after a week, this is what it looks like. Sandy, I cut one off, just the bottom, and I found out why I don't do that. It's the smell of onion everywhere. When it's like this, you don't smell the onion. So this is looking good. And I think that any minute now, we're going to start seeing, spring onion sprout off the top of this. But look at that root system. Doesn't that look good? Very excited about that. Now, when they come to move me, think about this. I've already thought about this. Do you think they're going to be happy that I've got all my seedlings growing here? My geraniums, some of them survived the winter. It's going to be awkward for them to move them. Is that my problem? Do I change the water? Yes, about once a week. And also I feed the water, Sandy. I've got some liquid seaweed and I just put a couple of, drops of the liquid seaweed in there. So every week they get clean water. How did I do the leek? Really easily. Hang on a second. I just stuck it in water. Leek comes with, I've got to be careful because my computer's here, but it comes with normally the root system cut off. And this is how much the roots have grown. Look at that. In just a week. So I just stuck it in like that. This is just a Tetra box here. Okay, I might regret having done that because I had it nicely balanced before. It might not balance as well. Okay, we'll put it like that. It should work. So if it starts growing, if this onion starts growing from the top, let me see if I understand the question. If I start getting green onion growing at the top of this, can I still eat the onion? Is that what you're asking? It's a bit like asking the same question about the bok choy. All that's going to be growing is green onion. When do I water the leek? I've actually got it growing hydroponically. Hydroponically as in, I'm trying not to change the water. You notice this is in a closed system. There's no light getting to the water here, which is a better thing. So you can do it hydroponically. So basically these, I filled the water up to the roots. And now as the roots start to drink that water, the water level is going to go down and then that will push the roots down all the time. It's a bit difficult at the moment, but can you see that the roots are starting to go at the bottom there? Can you see them? at the bottom. What they're doing is they're chasing the water. And so, okay, so you can do this. So that's called hydroponics. But you can only do it where, oops. So I won't be watering the leek. The leek will continue to chase the water down. The reason you do it if you've got it in a glass or something is because glass, that will create algae. And, you know, in terms of that, that's why I changed the water when I'm keeping it in glass. And these I've just got sitting on a damp paper towel. Oops, you see that? Look at the roots growing already. Amazing. Right, so Sandy's saying, I never buy green onions, so I didn't. That was what it was. Unboxing ideas in what way, Erin? Hi, good to see you. Did I unbox anything this week? Yes. Is that what you're asking, Erin? A lot of it's in my house, though. And I'll be there soon. So excited. Now, do you remember that I said to you that I accidentally got a big Savoy cabbage? I actually ordered a cabbage that I thought was going to come this size, and it came this size. But what I have discovered is that when you end up with that situation, you actually learn to like coleslaw a lot. And what I do is I chop up the cabbage and I throw it in a bowl with throw some raisins in there. I quickly put in some peeled carrot and some mayonnaise, and I mix it all up, and then I just sit and eat it while I'm watching television. And what I've found, though, and I thought I might mention this for those of you who are on a tight budget, you do know that cabbage lasts a lot longer than lettuce, and it doesn't require a lot of looking after. And so you might want to think about having coleslaw when you would normally have a salad. And because I think you would, number one, buying a cabbage, I think, is a lot cheaper than buying lettuce a lot of the time. But also it lasts, a long time. I've had that one cabbage in my fridge for probably 3 weeks. I probably need to throw some of the other one away because it's so big. I quote Steve Maraboli a lot, and he said this, and listen to this, people. I promise you nothing is as chaotic as it seems. Nothing worth diminishing your health. Nothing is worth poisoning yourself into stress, anxiety, and fear. Remember that. Nothing is worth diminishing your health. Nothing is worth poisoning yourself into stress, anxiety, and fear. And can you hear that that is my mentality? I am refusing to get stressed out more. Obviously, there is some stress. You all understand that. But I am taking control of how much stress I choose to take on at any time. And the reason is I don't want to get sick. That is my whole reason. And I'm pretty sure that you understand that I'm already, the boxes for packing will arrive on Monday. And that's a week before the week that I move. And you'll be amazed, I arrived here with a suitcase just about, and I've got quite a bit that I need to take out of here. So one of the things I have been saying to myself, I had planned for the last 2 weeks. No, more. Probably almost a month now. Every day, every week, I keep saying I need to set aside some time to finish my, I got a piece of art. We got this one framed, but I've got this other piece of art that I was working on. And every week I have it planned that I'm going to finish that artwork that I was working on. But, every week life has got in the way. And I have to keep making these choices. Do I prepare for Dear Mama Sal broadcasts, or do I do the art? Or if I've got it planned another day, it will be, and then suddenly an emergency happens for the insurance. And that was the day that I'd planned to do the art. And I have to say, do I choose to do the insurance stuff or the art? Or do I choose to put in my steps for the day or do the art? And what I've noticed is the art keeps getting pushed back. Interesting. Sandy is saying, just to let you know, Sal, there are certain things that you can buy online from Costco without membership. I just double checked, and they are rugs. There are rugs. That is awesome. However, you understand, I've already made the purchase decision on the rugs for now. But if I end up not liking them, I will definitely give that a thought. Plus, I've got neighbors who I know are members, so that is awesome. Thanks for checking that for me, Sandy. I appreciate that. So can you all see that the art keeps getting pushed aside? Does that mean I don't want to do the art? Or does it mean that life is coming at me so fast now that I have to make very serious decisions as to where I spend my time? And if I do the art, which is not essential to my moving home, that it will take away from time that I need to be spending either preparing a broadcast or getting the insurance stuff sorted out or looking after my health. And if you can see that, you will understand it's not that I'm procrastinating. It's about I only have so many hours in a day at the moment, and I'm having to make some pretty tough choices. It's not that I don't want to do it. It's that, I will have hopefully the rest of my life to be able to do it. So every time something has to give, right? Every week I have to keep saying, I don't have enough time to do all of that. What do I need to drop? And unfortunately, it's been the art. Very sad for me. But it is what it is, right? So, what I wanted to let you all know is it is an exciting time. But I obviously will spend this week starting to box things up. And that will be, I will go from having everything around me that I sort of need to survive, and suddenly it'll all be packed up again. But it won't be for long. And it is all, I said this at lunchtime, it is all about the mentality I do it with. And if I do it with the right mentality, I will be just fine. And if I do it in a case of, oh, it's so stressful or whatever, I'm going to pack up one area every day. And the first thing I will do is to put things into a box, but I won't tape them up. In other words, I might put all my clothes into a box, but I'll put them in a box in such a way that I can take out what I need and then put it back in the box, right? Not, keep it all hung up and everything else. Because then I know that is, the last week I just put the tape on it and it's done. I will take things from the bathroom and put them into a big box, but I will still have the box in the bathroom. That's when I used to be on tour and I traveled, a lot every week. What I would do is I would have basically 2 sets of makeup and 2 sets, 2 different hair dryers, 2 different anything. So I had one lot that was in a case all the time, so that I knew that if I got called out in a hurry and I had to fly in a hurry, I had everything that I needed in a suitcase already. The other thing I find is if I know I'm going to travel now, what I will do is a couple of days before I make the trip, I will put a small case in my bathroom, and everything that I use goes into the suitcase, because then I know that's everything that I've used in the last 2 days. So if I'm going away for 2 days, I'm going to need all those things. Wonder if that makes sense. And that's how I do it. So now the stuff in the kitchen, there's all the stuff that was here when I first arrived, but then I've bought a lot of groceries and stuff that obviously is going to need to be packed up. And then I probably will need 2 boxes to empty the freezer. The conversation now is the fact that you can buy from Costco, but apparently if you're not a member, that they will up by 5%. That's awesome. Thank you for that information, Jody. And that's what I keep saying. That's why I love doing the broadcast. I think that every broadcast, I learned something. And I didn't know that. So isn't that amazing? You're getting excited for me, Kimmy. How kind of you. Thank you. What are you most looking forward to? I think everybody has their own part of my house that you like. I had fun. I did all my shopping so far at Walmart. All right, because I'm on a tight budget. But what I tried to do was to buy things that hopefully when I put them all together, you're going to go, wow, and you got that all at Walmart? That's what I wanted to do, is to see if I could do that. I want to tell you, just getting the bedding and the pillows, I spent over $600 and I was at Walmart. It's amazing how it adds up. So it's, and I haven't, I've still got to get some things. But what I wanted to do is to try and do it in a way that when I put it together, that, I could take a picture for you and you'd go, wow, that's amazing. Now, when I get home, I'm probably not going to have anywhere to put any of my clothes. Because you remember those beautiful big QB units that I had? They were just, they were thrown away. So, but I can't get the new ones in because they're still busy. All the contractors are still in the house. So I can't have people there building new units for me. So what I will do is, I know that's going to happen. I'm prepared for that. I'm not scared. I'm prepared for the fact that I will go back and I won't have anywhere to put my undies and things, right, necessarily. But that's okay, right? I can make a plan. At least I got undies, which I didn't have on September the 24th, if you remember. Right, and Kimmy's saying that she's happy for me to go home to a nice changed house, and that I will be home again. Yes, do you know, for me, I think it's going to be nice to know that all the electrical, every single bit of electrical in that house was checked. Because the fire obviously did some damage. I still haven't got an answer on the water heater, by the way. But I'm not panicking because I've got it on the list. And that's what I'm going to, they will, I know enough about the process that they will think that they are finished. And then the project manager will come and walk through the house with me and say, what still needs to be done? And that is the interesting thing. Yes, absolutely, Sandy. Everything is now up to code. I know that, and I didn't know that before. I now know that the potentially lethal problem in my fireplace system has been fixed. I now know that the leak that I didn't know about near the chimney that already had caused trouble isn't a problem anymore. So when you think about it, although this has been an incredibly stressful 5 months in some ways, I also know I'm going back to a much safer house. And that is really, that is the upside as far as I'm concerned. And it's all got a totally fresh coat of paint. And, I think it's going to be, the other thing I keep weighing up, and I'm certain you guys will remember having this conversation when I bought, was that I actually knew there were certain things that needed to be replaced, and I knew that could possibly cost me as much as $24,000. Do any of you remember me talking about that? I knew that the roof needed redoing, and I knew and I would have liked a new bathroom because I didn't particularly like the bathroom, but it was functional. But now what I'm looking at is I by the time I go back, I hopefully will have covered the majority of those things, and it will have cost me 15 of my money, because I've spent 15 of my own money to get the things fixed that weren't covered, that weren't in the insurance area. For example, the problem with the fireplace and wanting that wall-to-wall shower. So I got a lot of things that I would have liked but didn't think I was going to get. And so I'm happy. But the main thing is, I hope you hear that the main thing for me is, how do I keep myself relatively stress-free? That's so cute. Sandy says, I'm happy you will be home. Your face lights up when you talk about your home. Well, I want my seedlings to have a home too. And the other thing that I'm doing is I'm really thinking about, when I go home, what do I have to buy? In a way, I think part of what's happened was, I believe everything happens for a reason. I think a lot of things that were in that back bedroom that have been trashed were things I hadn't sorted out because they were painful to sort out. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I didn't want to clean out a lot of those things because it was so difficult. And now God did it for me. Hello, here's a fire. That lot all has to go. And it was just like, well, they sure cleared out that room in a hurry. And so, and most of the desk that was in there, had to be trashed. The shelving unit I had in there had to be trashed. So I will now have to make new decisions. What do I want to have? All right, so here's my question. Knowing that that's what's going on, how long do you think it will take me now to do the second move into the house and get settled again? Last time it took about 6 months, all right, I just got settled. I still had unpacking to do, but I was basically pretty settled. So I don't think it's going to take 6 months. And this time what I will do is I will probably buy a lot of the units at IKEA, and I will pay for them to put them together. I'm too old to be doing that now. It's back-breaking work. Why would I do it? And it will just be, okay, fine, I'd like to buy that, but have somebody come and assemble it for me. It'll cost me extra money, but it's less stress. And it's done. So I'm actually looking forward to it. Isn't it strange? I'm really looking forward to being back in my kitchen with all my gizmos. You cannot believe how much I miss my gizmos. As I said, I think last week, the only mixer of any sort that I have had is a little blender for a smoothie. And that's wearing out. It's starting to leak already. I'm looking forward to getting back to my Super Ninja dough and everything else machine. I'm looking forward to my crepe maker, my halogen oven. I'm looking forward to doing experiments again and showing you what I'm up to. Yeah. Now, it's interesting. Kimmy's saying, I hope God doesn't make that decision for me. I'm getting rid of things as fast as I can. Yes, I think God saw that I put a stop to unpacking quite a lot of stuff. I just didn't want to unpack anymore. And please remember, at the back of my house, I've got a shed. And that shed is full of boxes. So I got a long way to go. But my challenge is that when I've got the move settled, I'm then going to give myself a year. If you think about it, if I took one box out of that shed every week and either repacked it or at least know what's in there and mark it properly and put it back in the shed, I reckon if I could do one box a week, that would be, in a year, it would all be done and I would be able to relax a bit. We'll see. Or will I die and it'll all be locked up in the shed? I don't know. Going to be interesting one way or the other. It is amazing how much I've collected in just 5 months of being here, Kimmy. But I don't mind admitting that most of it appears to be pantry stuff. Because I always buy, I think you all know this, I have this system, and I've had it for a long time, and I'll only be able to show you if I can find my pen. I had it at lunchtime, so where did it go? Hello, pen. Where did you go? There it is. Okay, so I always have this system that if I'm using a jar of peanut butter and this gets to about this far down, I then know that I've got an air. In other words, I know that there is another bottle of peanut butter in my storage area, a full one. And that's the air. Okay. And then do I have the spare? When this comes out this low, it's time for me to buy the spare. Okay, so this week's order will then include the next peanut butter. Does that system make sense to you all? And that means when I finish this peanut butter, I will go, this will become the one I'm using, this one will become the air, and then when that comes down to here, I will then reorder. And, it's a great way of making sure you don't run out of anything. But it takes up a bit of space. Jody, I think you've started doing that as well, and I think you'll probably agree that it's amazing how that works. And it also allows you, how many of you buy things that you use regularly, but if you see them on sale, you will buy them even if you've already got them? And I think that is something we need to be more aware of because, the price is going so high. What I am frustrated about, and I was talking about it at lunchtime, is the sad thing. When I went to the house this week, that is remember my freezer that I saved up to buy? And having bought it, I started to systematically fill it up. And it was like 3/4 full of food in terms of be prepared, not scared for the pandemic. Can you all remember? Can you see it is empty? I know what you're asking. What happened? My answer is I have no idea. But I presume that what happened is after having kept that thing plugged in for the whole of the winter, that one of those contractors must have unplugged it to move it and then didn't plug it back in again. Now, do I need to be stressed out about it? Does getting stressed out about it fill up the freezer again? No. Obviously, somebody's going to have to come up with some money for me to be able to refill my freezer. The good news was that it was all in Safeway bags. You know, when you've got a deep freeze like that, when it's deep, I really recommend don't put loose stuff into a deep thing. I put mine all in shopping bags, you know, with handles on them. So if I need a roast, I can pull out the bag or 2 bags of roasts. All right, I just pull them straight out. Don't have to dig deep to the bottom. I just pull out this bag and this one here. And I go, all right, maybe on this one I've got pork and chicken, and on this one I've got beef and things like sausages and whatever, bacon, you know. So I know which bag to pull out. But, you know, the whole lot was in bags. So even if it defrosted, and I presume that's what happened, it would have been easy for them to junk stuff because it was all in bags. And it wouldn't have made a mess at the bottom of the freezer either because it was all in bags. So I do recommend that. But you understand, there's no point in getting angry about it. There's no point in getting upset about it. It's happened. And again, somebody's going to have to fill it up again for me. Have I talked to anybody about it? No, but I took pictures. You know, they all knew, they knew that it was full. We had that discussion right at the beginning because I said, I need that freezer to remain plugged in. It's full, right? But that was one of the first things I discussed when they were shutting down the house because they had to wait for the permits and they were shutting down the house. I said, I have to have electricity go to that freezer, to my 2 freezers, my fridge and my freezer. And so they know it was full, that they checked that out beforehand. I'm not, you know, it's the least of my concerns. I did write a note in answer to your question, Sandy. After I wrote the thing about the lighting, I said, by the way, does somebody want to tell me what happened with the freezer? Or do I not want to know? And I will eventually get an answer on that. I'm not worried, quite honestly. I certainly have enough people that know that I wanted that kept on and why I wanted it kept on. All right, so Kimmy's saying, I like the standing freezers better, easier to get food out. Yes, I think a lot of people do. Do you know why I chose not to have a standing one, Kimmy? Because, you know, obviously we each have our own preferences. So do you want to know why I chose not to have one? That I chose to have the deep chest type one? Yeah, Sandy remembers. You know, it was, I gave it a lot of thought. You know, having an upright freezer, it takes up a lot of space. And I knew the only place that I could put a freezer would be in my craft room, you know, which is that middle section of the house. It's open, doesn't have any doors closing it off, it's open. And I also knew the place where it would go would be outside the laundry room. So the reason I chose a big chest freezer was so that it could be a folding table. I could use it for cutting material. I could use it for, you know, doing crafts and things. It would be a work area. And I cannot tell you how useful it's been, Kimmy. I found that what I did is if I had things in the back end of the house, the back third of the house, I would bring them and put them on the freezer. All right. And then when I'd finished doing everything at the back of the house, I would go past the freezer and pick everything up on the freezer and take it to the front end of the house. It became like a halfway house for me, that freezer top. And the reason that I put everything on there was because I knew I'd have to take it off there pretty quickly because I open up that freezer every day, well, every other day. So I knew it couldn't stay there very long. And that was a good place to put it because I would put it away somewhere. And it worked. It worked really well. So I used it as my halfway house. But I think, I personally don't like stand-up freezers. I don't find you can store the same amount in them, but that's my personal thing. Yes, and you're saying that and do you have yours in plastic bags, Kimmy? Like I suggested to you some time ago? Because even if you're short, if you think about it, as long as you can lean down as far as your knees, then that's where your plastic bag handle is going to be. So it's really easy. How tall are you, Kimmy? Because, Jody is knee-high to a grasshopper. And, I also recommended that she do that with hers. So there are lots of ways. And I agree with you that I want to tell you something. The thing I'm going to really enjoy when I get back is my washing machine. Do you know that washing machine I've got there is the biggest washing machine I have ever seen in my life. And it takes a full duvet. It takes a full duvet with sheets. It's that big. It's like almost an industrial size washing machine. And the one here is like a tiny little apartment one. And it makes so much noise. And I'm going, I am really looking forward to getting back to my washing machine, which I don't hear until the buzzer goes off and said, empty me. So Jodie's saying that she's 5'3". I thought she was knee high to a grasshopper. I was right. And Kimmy's only 5 foot. That's really. So you'd actually have to jump up and down to see even Jodie. So do you keep a step stool so that you can get that extra height? So that's what I would do. I'd keep a step stool next to the freezer so that you can get that extra height before you lean in. Don't fall in. Sandy's saying I'm short, but we did go stand up. It fits the spot in perfectly. See, that's the whole thing. You have to do what works for you, right? So completely a personal preference. Yeah, Sandy's also 5 foot nothing, right? So, it's, and I understand, that we make those choices. I personally didn't like those big chest freezers until I moved in with Yvonne. I bought the house with Yvonne in it. But she had a chest freezer that didn't work anymore, and I had it in my laundry room. And we used it as a folding table. And I want to tell you that I really missed it when I moved to my house. I'm going, I used to love being able to just fold things on that chest. So when I decided to get another freezer, that's why I went with the chest freezer. But thank you for bringing it up. Everybody's got a good reason for doing what they do. So just before we sort of get on with anything else, did any of you have anything that you want to talk about? Did you want to talk about Meghan and Harry, or did you want to talk about anything else, what's going on in your life? Because if so, let's do it now, and we will just spend a little time. I'm going to really relax this evening. One of the things I'm being really careful to do is to make sure I get enough sleep in the next couple of weeks, because that's all going to be instrumental on how well I manage the move back. It's going to be, really important for me. And also remember, I'm going back to a house and I don't have my big, you remember I had that big garden shed that I had to get rid of. So I've got to go back and work out what am I going to do without that garden shed. At the moment, I put everything, I didn't worry about where I put it because it was winter. But now things, I'm going to need to use them, and I've got to think about where am I going to put these things for the summer. And I think I'm going to make a little plan out of, around the corner at the back or something where I can keep my power tools that will, you basically got to know where they are to get to them. But I've got to find a better home for them because I can't keep, at the moment I got them pushed down under my deck, and that's going to be really hard on my back to keep them there. So I'm going to make a plan B on that one. Oh, it's interesting. Sandy's saying, it's funny to hear you say that, Sal. It's 11:30 here, and I forget that you're 3 hours behind. Yes, a lot of people do forget that I'm 3 hours behind. So when you send your little notes in the morning, Sandy, try and remember that. Actually, I've turned off the notifications now. But it's why, I don't know if you've noticed, but I try and put mine up about midday, somewhere between midday and 3, because I reckon that way everybody should be, getting on with their lives. Yeah. So, but I think, oh, here's something else I thought about. Can you imagine this? I'm also thinking about what wasn't working for me before. Before I go back and put everything back where it was, what wasn't working for me before? Let me tell you one thing. You remember I had my television on the mantelpiece so that while I was working, I could watch the news and everything. That worked beautifully. But because I had to secure the television to the mantelpiece, I couldn't go and sit on the couch with my feet up and watch television. Or if somebody, we know we can't have that happen right now, but if somebody came to visit and we wanted to watch a movie, I couldn't swing the television to do that. Does that make sense? Am I describing that well enough? So that place where the fireplace is was fine for me watching it, but if I had somebody visit me, it wouldn't be so fine. So here's what I thought. Okay, people. Here's what I thought. I've been thinking about this quite a bit. So this room, hang on a second, let's see if I can draw this for you. So this is the rest of the place. So here's the fireplace, and then behind it is the kitchen with that big worktop that we do the broadcasts on. This is the cupboard where I open it up and go, hi, everybody. And these are the sink area, and then this is the fridge here. Okay, so that's the kitchen. Then we got this dining room area, and then my couches were like this with those round tables in front of it, like a little seating nook area. And then I had the futon here, and the television was here. Oh, I lie. This comes like that. Okay. So in my dining room table was here with the chairs around it, and there was a wall unit. So what I thought I would do, this is not to scale at all. This comes up to about here, and then this is the fireplace. Okay. So what I thought I would do is something really quite weird. I thought I might put the television on a cart with wheels on it, because I think if I do it right, it could actually fit in this area, which means that if I'm watching it, I could either put it in front of the fireplace, or I could swing it here and watch it, or I could swing it this way and lie on the couch and watch it, or I could even, because all the electricals for it are here, I could even bring it here and watch it from the kitchen. Am I making sense? So if I had it on wheels, it would function a lot better in that area for me. And even if I, got to the point where we were allowed to have people back in the house again. So that's the sort of thing I'm thinking about. What wasn't working for me that I probably wouldn't have changed? And that was the major one I thought of, is I'd like to have that television mobile. So I'm going to take my old television computer table, and just put it on there for the time being to see, does it work? And I will stick it on pretty well. And just try that out. Now, the computer table might not have made it. They might have junked it. And if they have, then that'll be plan C. But I was thinking, if they have junked the computer table, then that was on wheels. What I might do is to buy a trolley, an old English tea trolley type thing, and just buy one. I can get a bamboo one and just paint it white if I need to. Because I thought that would be useful. You could have the TV on the top, and you could have, other things that it needs. Or I could put all the wee things underneath it. All the handheld things. What do you call them? All the discs and everything. They could all be on the trolley as well. So if I wanted to use, how big is the TV? The TV I had in the bedroom was not that big. It was only about 32 inch, which is big enough for me on my own. My kitchen didn't get caught in the fire at all, Kimmy. The kitchen is exactly the same as it was. So everything that you remember in the kitchen should still be there, with the exception the plants died. But, the plants in the window, yeah, they didn't make it. But everything else should still be there. IKEA has carts, is that right? I didn't know that. That's good to know. Hang on, Kimmy, I'll make a note of that. That's why I love you guys so much. You save me so much time. Oops. Let me just make a note of that. On my system here, add a note. Task. IKEA carts. Thank you, Kimmy. I didn't know that they had. I checked. I know that Amazon has got some. So it's good to know that IKEA does as well. I'll check those before I go to bed tonight. So, but you understand, I've looked at quite a lot of the mobile television units, but they are really quite ugly, and I wouldn't want that. But a really nice cart would look great. And it would work for me. It isn't about whether anybody else would like it. It's like, is it functional for me? If I want to stand in the kitchen and cook, but I also want to watch a certain show, can I do it? And I realize now that I can, if I have that on wheels, because it'll actually work for the, I can watch it in the fireplace area. I can watch it in the living area. I can, look at it from the living room or the dining room or the kitchen. That's pretty versatile for one television set, but just by virtue of the layout of the room. Yes, Kimmy, I did notice that IKEA's got rugs as well, but I didn't find any that I thought I would like. I did have a look at their rugs. And by the way, they're a lot more expensive. So, but, it's again, as I said, I've made the rug decisions for the short term. Now, how many of you have noticed that shag is back in vogue again? I never thought shag would come back, but it is coming back. And I thought I might just, for the hell of it, because I love Flocati rugs, I might just put some Flocatis down, knowing that if I want to vacuum, I've got to lift them up and put them on the bed or on the couch or whatever, because Clarence the cleaner, my robot, is not going to like them. Hi, Virgo Soul. Good to see you. But I'm, there's part of me that goes, I would like to start making a collection of some of those, maybe have some white Flocatis down, because they're going to look so good against that gray floor. But I've still got to buy a couple of runners somewhere that will fit in with everything. So we'll see. What did you buy from IKEA and put your CPAP on? A cart? Or is it a computer table type thing? I've got to buy bedside tables as well, guys. I don't have those anymore either. They went. Both my bedside tables were trashed. Very scary. Can you believe it? And this is what's so scary. I haven't finished going through the list yet. I still have about a quarter to go. But do you know that just replacing the stuff that they had to trash from my bathroom and my bedroom, I am already over $10,000. Isn't that scary? Kimmy, that's great to know. Send me a picture so I know what it looks like. I will know what I'm looking for. Thank you. Can you believe it? I'm already over $10,000 just from the stuff in my bathroom and my bedroom. And, you know, that's not counting clothes or anything. Oh, I think there were a couple of pairs of shoes that were in the bathroom. So they had to, you know what amazed me? I had a bottle of perfume this big, a Cartier perfume this big. Do you know what the value of that was? Nearly $250, just the perfume alone. Now, obviously, it was a gift to me, but you know, it was just like, seriously, a perfume this big. The current price is $250. I went, wow, that's pretty scary. And I, you know, I'm still working through the list, but it is frightening how it all adds up, how much is involved there. And, you know, you think about it, yeah, it wasn't my whole house. It was just the two, you know, basically just the bathroom, but the water damage and smoke damage of the furniture in the bedroom. Yeah, it's really, I want to tell you, it's, in a way, it's almost soul destroying work. Because you've got to keep looking at things and going, what else did they not take a picture of? You know, if you think about it, I had a lot of medical stuff. You know, I had great bandages for, you know, I was having problems with an edema. I had ankle splints because I was having problems, if you remember, with my ankles at that time. You know, and they're expensive things to rebuy. I had all sorts of computer cables in my bedroom that got trashed. I had, anyway, it's really, it's scary how much was in there. And as I said, I am not finished yet, and it's over $10,000 worth right now. Now, I won't get $10,000. I want to assure you of that. Because what they will say is, on average, how old was everything, you know, because obviously I didn't just buy it all brand new. And then they will, you know, they will do what they call the depreciation on it. So I'm going, if I get 50% of what I work out, I probably will be lucky. That's what I'm thinking of. And so if they offer me 75%, I'll be happy. Do you understand my thinking? But you know, I think it'll be somewhere between 50 and 75%. I don't think I will get it all back because that's not how they work. But, you know, I'll cry a bit and see what I can get here. Scary stuff. So I'm hoping that you learned something today. And remember this one, right? Other people's lack of planning should not cause you stress. If I can give you one message today, that's it. Other people's lack of planning should not cause you stress. And if it does, it means that you took on their stress. Don't do that. Don't do that. Let them deal with their stress. And they can badmouth you, and, you know, what they think of you is none of your business. Remember that one. That's Terry Cole Whitaker again, right? But the thing is, don't take on the stress that they created. It's not your stress, it's theirs. So I can afford to be quite calm and just do things in the time that it takes. And they will need to sort themselves out around that. I hope that's the message that you got from today's broadcast. Don't take on stress that isn't yours. It's a very important lesson, Jody. You're right. It is. And it took me a long time to learn it. And that's why I like to talk to you about how am I coping with all of this. Yes, Kimmy's saying, I keep as many old computer cables and cables because they're expensive and I will need them. I have the whole box in that my guest bedroom. I had a complete box of computer cables, a banker box. And it had every sort of computer cable you could think of, Kimmy. I had cables for hard drives. I had cables for, it was a complete box of cables. I don't know whether I've lost it or not. What kind of cables do you need? I won't know, Kim. Because really they just took a mass picture of a bunch of cables. I will not know which ones I need until I get back. However, on the other side of it, Kimmy, the upside of it, anything that's important to run my computer or do DearMamaSal, I've already rebought because I'm broadcasting to you. If you think about that. So I've got what I call the main ones. It's like, how many extension cords did I lose? How many wall sockets did I lose? How many? And I won't know that until I go back and try and plug everything back in again. And, they try to systematically take a picture of absolutely everything in place, before they pack it up and take it away. But, we'll only find that out when I get back. So they will try to get me to clear up the money on this pretty quickly. And I will not be doing that pretty quickly. I will want to live in my house for at least a month to find out what am I missing that I didn't realize I was missing until I got home. And that's what I will do, unless they offer me what I call a really good deal to clear it off, in which case I will probably say yes. If they say, look, you've claimed for 10,000 and we'll give you 9, I'll probably say I'll take it and be happy. So don't take on other people's stress. Their lack of planning is not your problem, it is theirs. And if you can remember that, I want to tell you, you'll be amazed how many times it happens to you while you're shopping, while you're getting your car fixed. It'll happen to you all over the place. And, you just need to keep this in your mind. Their lack of planning has nothing to do with you. You have no reason to get stressed about it. You are the client, and you do things as best you can. Making yourself anxious or sick is not going to help anyone. So I look at it and go, it's going to be an interesting couple of weeks. And with your help, we'll do this together. I am hoping, because they will only unpack me on the Thursday, the 25th, I think. They will only unpack me that day. I am hoping that I will be able to do a broadcast on the 26th. And I'm pretty sure that if I've got my Wi-Fi going and my computer going, that we're good to go. The question is, can I hook it all up in time? And it'll be a high priority. So the answer is, if it's humanly possible, I will do it. And if it isn't humanly possible, I will make sure that I let you know. I will put a note up on the usual places to let you know that I can't do it. But it won't, because I haven't tried. And then I'll have a week to get it all, get the coffee. Yes, funny, Jody, my Keurig, I'm really looking forward to getting back to that. I've heard people say that Keurig wastes money. I found the opposite. I found that I use far more coffee using a regular drip coffee maker than I ever did using my Keurig. Why? For my Keurig, I was using a teaspoon of coffee, or a little bit more than a teaspoon per pod. I had reusable pods, so I wasn't, messing the environment with the reusable pods. But, you know, it was interesting because I'm going, whoever thinks that having a coffee filter thing is less cost, it isn't. You know, because you only make as much coffee as you want for a cup. And it's interesting. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward. You know, the other thing, my ice maker. I'm looking forward to that. But Clarence the cleaner. Oh, I didn't realize how much I enjoyed him until I got here. And it's just like, yeah, right. Be grateful for what you have is the message. And I'll be grateful when I get it all back again. So enjoy the journey with me. I hope you don't hear this as negative. And I wanted you to understand that, yes, it is possible to be lonely. You are lonely if you don't reach out to people. You won't have many friends if you don't reach out to people. You won't keep friends if you don't reach out for people. And by the way, if you keep score, that's a really good way to lose friends. I had, just so that you know, I had somebody that I was very friendly with for a long time, and they did something that was inexcusable, and I stopped the friendship. But, you know, I got an email from them today. They reached out because it's their 60th birthday, and I wrote to wish them a happy 60th. And she said, you know, you were the greatest friend until I messed it up. And, you know, you did so much for me. And I actually wrote back and said, I think you probably know that I probably still would. You know, it's just like, I haven't changed. You know, it's just that I am who I am. You know who I am. So for me, it's like, yes, you messed up, but we all mess up. So, you know, stay in touch and I will still be the same person. It is really important not to blame other people for being lonely. We're lonely because we don't keep the relationships going. And in this day and age, to say, well, you know, I can't get out or I can't do this, that, and the other. Our technology is so wonderful today that I don't think anybody has that reason, unless you can't get on the internet or something. So learn a new hobby, join some more focus groups, you know, do whatever, but keep yourself involved with humans. I want to tell you that just having DearMamaSal, I think has helped my mental health no end. I think if I weren't doing DearMamaSal, I'd probably be in a lot worse state than I am. But every week I'm constantly, you know, trying to put things together for DearMamaSal and broadcasting, and that keeps me entertained, if you like. Here we go. So remember, life gets in the way. You can have the best plans in the world, but the truth is, life gets in the way. And with that, I say to you, have a wonderful weekend, everybody. I'll see you on Sunday afternoon when we'll be talking about coping with stress. By the way, did you see the thumbnail for the broadcast at lunchtime and the one for tomorrow? I've got a viewer that likes to make thumbnails for me. And you know, it just every now and then she'll send me some thumbnails and they're so good. And I love them to bits. So very nice. I love you dearly. Please remember, I'm going to be just fine if I keep control of my mind and not let other people invade my mind. That is called protecting my mental health. It took a long time to learn how to do that, but I'm getting a lot better. And part of the way I do it is to play with things like my indoor garden here. This is DearMamaSal saying, love you dearly. Remember to look after one another, but please look after yourselves. Remember as well that that vaccine is not going to stop you from getting COVID. What it's going to do is stop you going to ICU, being on a ventilator, or worse, dying. The vaccine isn't going to make a blind bit of difference about whether you contaminate somebody else. The vaccine is to protect you. And so if people are nagging on you because you don't want to have the vaccine because you're making it dangerous for other people, it is not true. Remember, the vaccine is about protecting yourself. And so the question is, why do they then say that we have to have it to travel on an airplane? It's so that you won't have to go into quarantine when you arrive. What they're trying to do is to make sure if you've had the vaccine, you won't need to quarantine. So if you are somebody that's an international traveler or want to go back to doing that, make sure you get vaccinated. This is Dear Mama Sal saying thank you for being there. Thank you for supporting me through all of this. And wish me luck as I start packing up to go home again. Bye-bye for now.